name's Pedro, Rivera, community builder, investor, advocate, educator. I've been in this space full time now for like 7 years. Most of you guys have probably seen me in one of these events, something like that. I'm really passionate about this space, and what I love about it is that it basically has zero barrier entry, and anybody's welcome to attend. I come from not a traditional financial services or technology background, but yet I've still been able to make a pretty good name for myself in this industry and do some good building and, work on things that I'm passionate about that give us the opportunity to give us a new future that we all want to live in. So things that I'm passionate about is obviously education, and financial literacy and financial inclusion. And coming from Puerto Rico, which I think a lot of you people understand has become a crypto hotspot, but at the same time it's a very big disparity between the crypto community and the rest of the island. 40% of the island lives in poverty. So one of the things in my life mission is to eradicate poverty globally, and God willing we can work together to achieve that. So our next panel, should I just keep yapping or you just want me to introduce our panel? Where's the rest of our panelists? Susan, you're supposed to be up here. How many panelists? Do I sit down or I stand up on this thing? How many panelists do we have? Do I sit down or I stand up? Okay, come on up. Let me get the rest of my panelists. Let me get a round of applause for the rest of my panelists, please. What's up? Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Got a microphone? You got one too?
Yeah.
Test, mic, one. Everybody's mic's good? Okay, perfect.
1, 2.
And what is the panel again? Okay. So our panel this morning is going to be on Gamify and MetaVerse prospects of gamification. So as you guys know, obviously MetaVerse and Gamify, and I'll step back just a little bit so we have some side of arc. No, you're fine. Step back just one a little bit. Yeah, so that way you have like some semi-circle. Perfect, there you go. So ultimately, Gamify and MetaVerse are going to be, move a little bit back so you have a little bit of arc so we can all see each other. There you go, perfect. There you go. So ultimately, Gamify and the MetaVerse is going to be something that's going to be, overly used and displayed, and it's kind of worked to death, and the majority of people are going to use it as a buzzword. But the truth is, this is actually the hot topic of 2022 in our industry, as you guys know. So our panelists here, I want to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourself. I'll start to the left, of course, ladies first. My compadre here, Miss Susan O. Go ahead and tell them who you are.
Hi, is this thing on? I'll work with that. Sorry, guys. My name is Susan O. I started working in AI in 2014 between New York and San Francisco in Silicon Valley. And as I was trying to create my own training corpus for machine learning algorithms, I came across blockchain technology and started modeling back-end blockchain and AI integrated data systems in 2016. And I really got excited about NFTs because NFTs with DeFi protocols actually are able to deliver on the promise of creating a real world change that we'd imagined, because NFTs are simply the most robust and flexible programmable digital asset where any number of protocols and balancers could be placed in to digitally, visually represent any kind of transaction or dynamic pricing elements.
Excellent. So before we kind of go on, I just kind of want to just state this out there because there's a lot of confusion as to actually what NFTs are, and there's a lot of there's a lot of buzzwords out there that people just kind of like overly use and they're a little confused about, especially in our industry. A lot of people think these JPEGs are essentially these static images that you see everywhere that people have, and yeah, of course, those can be NFTs. NFTs basically signify intellectual property and ownership and exactly who was created it and when was it created and time-stamped on the blockchain. But if you can actually think, and you probably can attest to this, given your background, remember when we used to have .media files for every type of file there was? NFTs are essentially .media files on the blockchain. Whatever type of .media file you can create, whether it's audio, visual, or a combination of the two, even some AR, VR components, and the .media file essentially can be created as an NFT. And if you think about it from that perspective, it'll give you a different understanding for the true power of the technology, which is actually intellectual property and ownership of digital media on the blockchain, which gives it that actual transparency from creation to all the sale processes, and it gives you timestamp the data of all the record history of the transactions. But go ahead, sir.
Oh, no problem, thanks. So my name is Ourabah. I've been working for 20 years now as supporting the infrastructure fueling the financial services and all the technology surrounding that. And then, of course, when the crypto and blockchain world arrived, quite naturally, we also provided this infrastructure supporting that. I'm also a long-time miner since 2014, 13, Bitcoin miner. And of course, very recently, getting bored about all this business, I moved into this new project, which is an MMORPG, play-to-earn game. That's the first crypto game for non-crypto people. And it's touching a lot of the point that you guys mentioned around gamification, enabling entry, no barrier to entry, and we're changing that with not having to own the NFT, and all these topics. So we can talk about all that at length.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, sir, introduce yourself, Michael.
Yeah, my name is Babu. I would say I'm a tech leader in the Web 2 world.
Speak to the mic a little bit closer to you. There you go.
Transitioning to the Web 3 world. Being in the Web 3 world for about 5 years as an investor, speculator, and really had a passion for simplifying some of the experiences for onboarding Web 2 users to Web 3. So that's kind of the inception of Tevaera, where I'm the CEO and co-founder. And the products that we are building is around a gamified metaverse to, one, solve for simplification of how to onboard users. Number two, for providing a rich variety of content for users, for casual gamers, for fantasy gamers, and strategic gamers to enjoy. And finally, a decentralized way to own NFTs and have different techniques about gamification and financial aspects of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, my name is Jabesi. I'm just a young kid from the streets of Africa, and Bitcoin changed my life a long time ago. And for the last few years, I've just been passionate about bringing a lot of Africans onto the crypto space, and we have onboarded hundreds of thousands of people in Africa onto crypto, and that has been very effective. I'm a builder as well, so I built Crypto University, which is the largest learning platform in crypto. If you type Crypto University, we pretty much dominate the Crypto University keyword in Google search. And I've been a gamer as well for some part of my life. So when Play to Earn emerged, we saw it as an opportunity to even onboard a lot more people. So I started a new company called Mamba Gaming Universe, MGU. It's a guild. We focus on Play to Earn. But mainly we're just trying to build the first established e-gaming ecosystem in Africa, which will also integrate with other things in the metaverse and other ways to educate people. I'm also on YouTube as Crypto Hustle. Some of you probably have known me from there. But yeah, thank you guys. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So let's just start with you. Let's keep it right there. We'll actually come back down the line with the questions. We'll actually start off with what you were just discussing, essentially with the Play to Earn. This segment of the industry seems to be, exploding right now. I have high hopes for this industry. Reason being is there's a lot of places in the world where people survive on minimal incomes, anywhere between $2 to $5 a day. So if you could take that person, for the average person, anybody in this audience right here, Play to Earn games, chances are not going to be something that you're going to be addicted to and going to be thinking about, I'm making money doing this. If you get addicted to it, you like the game, it's going to be because you enjoy the game. The amount of money that you're going to make is going to be nominal in most Western countries. But in countries that have very low income, people, then ultimately if you take that person from $2 a day to $10 a day, all of a sudden you have 5 times the amount of income someone has created, right, daily. And also with that, you have, $8 worth of discretionary income because they were previous to that surviving off of $2 a day. So let's talk about what do you think the gamification aspect of these Play to Earn features and how is it this can change the economy in places like Africa and Southeast Asia and even the Indian subcontinent?
Yeah, so you have mentioned a few things about, the potential earnings for low income economies and what someone can get from it. But I think that is the least exciting part of it. The most important part is you can use this model to simply attract people into this ecosystem, and the skills they'll be able to gain from this market can now be used to do other things and make them a lot more productive. So we have seen people who had never really were interested in the internet stuff. They now started their own e-commerce businesses, or they're now working for crypto companies, and they're doing different things that they wouldn't have known or have done if it wasn't for the play to earn stuff. So we look at it as a gateway to the global economy for people who otherwise had no incentive to actually even learn about what's going on.
So you're looking at it as basically an entry point into the system, and then from that you envision people just going to a different platform
Exactly.
with it. I mean, obviously, ideally, that would be incredible. But you know, the fact that you could take somebody and you can 5x their income or their average daily income, it's going to be huge for the economies in the lower income reach places. And not to mention from that, you know, now of course you have different types of financial services, because the person making $2 a day they don't have a bank account. Right? But now this person has the ability to save money now with the wallet on their phone because they're using crypto, right? So all of a sudden it gives them different types of tools to create revenue streams in the different forms and aspect, and also save their money, because this person is also the kind of person who has all his money on his bed in his house or something, if they have any money, right? So this it opens up a new wave of future for them, and of course you have the opportunity to increase in the industry as well and go on to other opportunities. Let's ask you, sir, how do you see the gamification and play-to-earn features making an impact in our world moving forward?
So I definitely agree with it creating a gateway for new users, but I also see it as a way for them to change their life and career. It is opening up opportunities for them to use the additional income that they're earning to invest in their own families. It is also a way for them to advance the country as well, and the overall GDP and such, right? It is definitely kind of bringing the world together as the play-to-earn income, play-to-earn features in the gaming metaverse is evolving. I also see it. We are still in the very early stages of the play to earn. There's a lot more innovation that needs to take place. There are projects working on in creating a sustainable circular economy where play to earn actually needs to evolve into the next level for users and the stakeholders for creating a sustainable economy.
Excellent. And how do you see, Michael, gamification and these play-to-earn features playing a role in our society moving forward?
So I think it's clear, as you rightfully mentioned, it's going to change the lives of millions of people who are basically living under this level of poverty, in my opinion. And it's going to be a huge enabler. But to enable that, we need to resolve a lot of the problems that have been seen in the last few booming play-to-earn games, like Axie specifically. If you look at it, you need to own these expensive NFTs. And to be fair, it's a big barrier to entry. So they created these guilds and these systems where people would invest and provide them to people, but that's not giving freedom, because they depend on somebody that's going to give them the right to play and then earn. So I think the way to resolve that is remove this necessity of owning an expensive NFT to start playing. I think the NFT is still there, but you need to find a way around it, like the rent-to-earn mechanism, where people who invest in NFTs can put it on the marketplace when you launch the game, without even having to know how to buy an NFT, how to interact with the blockchain, how to create an ERC20 wallet. And if you can resolve these barriers and basically provide that marketplace where you can click, select an NFT and just start playing and earning and share the revenue with the owner of the NFT at 20%, 80%, for example, then you remove everything and you enable huge masses to engage into it. And as you rightfully mentioned, the only way for us around this room to be interested in play to earn is not around earning, because it's just a side feature, it's not enough. But it has to be, how can we make it interesting for a wider audience to then interact with people that are playing in the more poor countries, and make sure that the in-game economics are sufficiently fueled by people and companies and B2B companies that want to promote themselves in the metaverse, so that you can continue paying the people. And that's a big problem that Axie is seeing as well. So I think the in-game economics and the sustainability of the in-game economics are key for the success on the long term of these play-to-earn games. I think for me that's the most important part.
So one of the benefits, I actually travel all over the world like almost every week, right? Go to major conferences just about everywhere. And one of the benefits I have from that is actually having more data points. There's several play-to-earn companies and several metaverse companies that have already, had both solutions that have what you presented, which one is create NFTs and also loan them out for people who have, and then obviously for the people who don't have, they're able to rent them, and in an actual, rent-to-own type format essentially as well. So there's, I know of at least 5 companies that are doing that. Also, too, on the other end of that is, the cost to mint NFTs is not going to remain this high. Right? There's a variety of chains out there that are solving this issue, and there's a variety of parachains and layer 2 solutions, and even new protocols that are on their way out that eventually, the cost of minting NFTs will drop. So you won't see, $100, $200, $300, even $1,000 gas fees. There will be other solutions for that. So maybe that's an issue right now, but moving forward as the market matures, those things will change. Susan, how do you see gamification coming along with DeFi? Play to earn games impacting our world?
Okay, so one of the projects that I'm working on right now is to take the longitudinal and latitudinal coordinates of an in real world primary rainforest and creating NFTs around it, not just to represent the land, but embedded within that are dynamic pricing elements like carbon sequestration, the actual cost of annual salaries for the populations that live around the area, the economic cost of arable land, of which there's only 17% in the world's surface, as well as biodiversity. And we're using in real world data sets updated real time. There was a World Bank report that came out a couple of years ago by an economist, and it said, if you have a dead elephant that's illegally poached for ivory, that's $30,000 that goes into the pocket through illegal circles. But if you keep an elephant alive for the life cycle of this elephant, the carbon sequestration on that elephant is $1.5 million, portion of which we can tokenize and raise and make available to the surrounding areas to gamify conservation or land stewarding or creating art or recording what a healthy forest sounds like.
See, this is why she's up here. This girl here is sharp. So ultimately, you're absolutely correct. And I have seen a bunch of products that essentially are focused on gamification. So we all like games, right, to an extent. Now, again, the idea of play to earn for the actual average person in the Western world, thinking about it from a monetary perspective, we're a long ways away from that actually being viable for people, because you can't really earn that much money to where it was actually valuable for your time trade-off, right? But when you start thinking about gamification for causes, so where I can actually play this game for for tree conservation or for different types of variety of causes that you can raise capital for, all of a sudden it takes on a different understanding for people, and now people don't feel so guilty from being addicted to games on their phone all day long, right? So now they can actually have a reason why they play this game for 8 hours a day, right? So there's, some cool concepts there. So let's talk about the metaverse, right? Metaverse is going to be, obviously regurgitated over and over again. It kind of reminds me of 2017 blockchain, the word blockchain and how it was like everyone, was talking about blockchain. Let's start off with something very simple. Like, what is the actual, what do you see the metaverse in? Let's say, and I know you're a futurist, right? So we'll start with you with this question, and I hope I don't trip my panelists. But how do you see the metaverse playing out in terms of where do you see us going with this?
Oh God, just like every area that you want people to do something to augment themselves and learn new shit, watch a video, or do a single point of activity, and to be able to blend what's in the real world and digital, right? So for instance, right now we're working on a dating metaverse. And so we're allowing people who are physically disabled to be able to choose and bond and cluster together based on activities. You want to have dinner on the moon? Let's go to the moon. Right? Do you want to play virtual family or grocery shop? Let's go do that. And just through principal action and personality tests, we can allow people in a safe environment, especially women, come to a form of actualization. Because how do you know who is right for you if you don't really even know yourself, right? And how can you go to the edges of yourself in a way that you're not limited by physicality and geolocation? So it just opens up whole new possibilities for self-expression, self-actualization, and to be able to carry and transition some of that value into the real world.
Excellent. Michael, what do you think?
That's a long conversation. We talk about that for maybe 10 hours, but let's try to make it a bit different. So I think it's really blending the real life with the cyber world that we've been living in for the last 20 years, and that's been taking over our lives. 20 years ago, we were barely doing a few hours a day, not even sometimes for some people, of emails and just web browsing. And now we basically have our smartphones in our pocket, like you're doing right now, 24/7 in any instances, in any environment. And it's basically surrounding us all the time. And I think one of the big challenges is going to be able to engage with all these, gateways into the cyber world that we have. Because 1, 2, 3, 7, 10, 20, in 5 years, how many metaverses are we going to have? Hundreds of them. So we need to find a way to, bridge them together and create maybe some kind of global APIs or interconnection meta-to-meta bridges, so that whatever asset you have in one can be transposed in another one, and find a way to, collaboratively not only monetize, but leverage what you have in all these metaverse, because you might have to be in that metaverse for a Zoom, for, like a virtual meeting for work, and then move with friends and having afterwards drinks that are in different places, and you want to use what you have. And how can you then get real world items that have probably sometimes, that can probably have also an NFT embedded inside the metaverse, but you own both the real life and the NFT in the metaverse, so that, as I said, everything's blending together. I think that's, for me, is the future of the metaverse.
Excellent. And you, sir?
Kind of adding on to what Michael and Susan said, I think the metaverse is really coming together, and one of the things is going to be, how would you live in a metaverse and have a passive income opportunity where you can use your creativity to create a metaverse where you can host events, or you can have vacations, or you can have any of those experiences that is meaningful from people across the world and such. So I think there's a ton of possibilities for individuals to interact in the metaverse, and as we are all building the next generation of devices, experiencing it through different devices, and when you are at home, you are experiencing it through an AR device or a console, or when you are traveling it, experiencing through your phone, right? I think it's going to really be a powerful tool to engage human beings in a social, responsible way.
Excellent. And you, sir?
Yeah, so the metaverse is definitely a buzzword right now. It's kind of getting annoying a little. But the reality is there is an element of humanity that you cannot transform in 6 months or 5 or 10 years, This idea that we're going to be in goggles